Greetings, loved ones, and welcome back to my channel. First things first, don't mind this ginormous zit on my face. I don't know how it got here, but it did, and I can't stop looking at it when I look at myself. So if you get distracted by that zit for this video, I will be disappointed, because this is a very important message I have to share with you today. Today's video is going to be about the recycling problem in the US. Why does nobody talk about this? Oh my god. Well, I know why, because companies just want you to continue buying single-use plastic products and just throwing them out and not caring, because why would they let you know of this horrible massacre? But I'm going to be just talking about it all today. And I really wanted to make this video because when I was posting about this issue on my social medias yesterday, I realized how many of you do not understand or know anything about this at all. So that's why I feel just so grateful to be able to talk about this today with you guys and just educate the people, you know? I did a lot of research this morning on this topic, and really why I started my sustainability journey is because of the plastic problem and just the recycling problem. So in October of 2018, China stopped accepting our plastics. And you might be thinking, what? China was accepting our plastics? Why were we shipping it to China? And it's truly, this is the theme of this video. The US will do anything to not deal with this issue. Like, they're just gonna keep shipping it off to places until we have somebody in charge who is going to take matters into their own hands and use the millions of dollars that we do indeed have. Let's defund the detention camps and put it into a fucking recycling program that works. Like, okay? Anyways, basically what brought this to light more so in my life was, I know a lot of people who live in California, right? And on Monday, California's largest recycling center closed its doors. It completely closed down. So that means recycling in California is not happening. It's just not, it's not happening. Anything that you throw into the recycling bin is going to the landfill. And that goes for places other than California as well. The US as a whole does not have a recycling program in place that works. It's falling apart at the seams as we know it. And keep in mind that the California population is 39.56 million, and that was in 2018. And it's probably only risen since then. So 39.56 people probably don't know this about where their waste is going and how they just can't recycle it anymore. So I was posting about that when I found that out yesterday, and then it just kind of brought to light like the whole recycling problem, because obviously California is not the only one that's facing this issue. It's a national issue, and the root of this problem is this. So we were always taught, you know, in school or just by our parents to reduce, reuse, recycle. That was always the mantra. But somewhere along the line, we just really honed in on recycling, and we didn't reduce, we don't reuse, you know? We're just like, well, if it's recyclable, I guess I'll buy it, you know? And I'm not blaming people for thinking that way, because I too also thought that way until I realized, like, wait, where is my waste going? You know? And once you have that question and you research the answer to that question, it's really fucking sad. So if you've been actively not addressing this situation, then I totally get it, because, you know, we don't want to think about not buying products that aren't packaged in plastic, because we have to think a little bit more about it. So that's why I want to call more so for companies to be marketing products to us that are compostable, you know, that come in compostable containers and aren't just fucking single-use plastics. Like, we don't need them anymore. We have billions of tons of plastic in our world. It's not like we need more. I realize it's cheaper to produce. That's why all of the eco-friendly products are so much more expensive, because they cost more to make, so obviously they'll upsell them to you. So it's just like, the system itself is so flawed. It's so frustrating, but I just have so much more to say already. I know that this video is just like kind of going to be a recycling rant, but I really need to educate you guys on this because it's just so much. So one of my main issues with recycling in the US is that it's so quiet, right? Like, Yes, we were taught to reduce, reuse, recycle, but we were never really taught about what we need to do with our recyclables. Like, we need to rinse them out and not leave liquids in them, because then it pollutes the entire bin with liquid that's leaking out from your cans or whatever it might be, your plastic tuppers, leaking yogurts and things into the bin. It contaminates the whole entire bin, and then the whole lot is just trash. So there's these companies called MRFs, right? And MRFs are material recovery facilities, and their job is literally just to clean our trash to then send off to a recycling company. And MRFs are facing this issue now where they're getting so much stuff that's so contaminated that they're just investing more into these large cleaning machines. And I didn't even know what a MRF was. I didn't know that existed, you know? I was just like, I recycle and that happens and they reuse my stuff, right? And I watched this Broad City episode once, and Alana just had the funniest quote. I really was trying to find the clip to put in this for you guys, but she was just like, you think that they're sorting through my empty sushi containers and washing them for me and doing all this stuff? No, it's just trash. Like, she was just getting so frustrated because it's so true. Like, we just don't have the education in place that tells us, hey, you need to rinse these things out and make sure they're so clean so that when they actually are sent off to facilities, they can be recycled. Like, there's so much contamination in our bins. That's such an issue. I know that this video is a lot of back and forth, but I just have so many notes here that I'm going off of, and it's a little scatterbrained in my head right now, but I'm trying to get my footing and just relay all of this info well, so I hope I'm doing okay. But what I was saying is that recycling is so quiet here in the US, right? Like, we just throw it all into the recycling bin, and we trust, because we pay these companies, or your parents pay these companies to take our waste away, we trust that it's being managed well. But right now, because China banned taking all global plastics into their country back in 2018, we're just trying to find other places to send it off to so we don't have to deal with it. So we're not faced with our waste. That rhymed. So one of the main reasons that China stopped doing this is because obviously taking in global amounts of plastic to your country is going to be so terrible for your environment. And it really made their citizens realize this when a documentary was released called Plastic China. And it basically was just focusing in on this little girl who was working at like a plastic plant, a plastic facility with her parents. And it was just so disheartening and so disturbing to see the life that they were leading because of all of the world's recycling and garbage and plastic just like being in their food and in their water and all of these things. And so then after that, China was like, oh, hold on. We really need to dial this back because this is not a sustainable system. Like, this is terrible. So then they launched the initiative called the National Sword Initiative. And it basically just took a sword to global recycling as we know it, which is kind of a good thing because then, you know, they're not just taking all of that in and ruining their environment, and they're just making all of us stop sending it off to them and face what we've done. And so obviously the US is like, okay, well, if they're not taking it, we'll just send it off to somebody else. We can't be bothered, you know? It's just like so stupid. So then we started sending it off to Southeast Asia, countries like Vietnam and Malaysia and India. And then now they are dialing back and being like, whoa, 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 we don't want to buy your recycling from you anymore because we're literally packing it up on barges and shipping it across overseas just for them to sort through. And now they're overwhelmed with our trash as well. And the reason we do this, the reason that we send it off to other countries is because it's cheaper for us than dealing with it ourselves. For example, in California, when we were still shipping it to China, it was cheaper for us to send it from California to China than, say, sending it to Arizona, which is just such a flawed part of our system. Like, we can't manage it in a cheap way in our own country's borders. Just ridiculous. And you have to keep in mind, like, globally, we are producing around 3.5 million tons of trash a day. A day! That is so much trash. Obviously, the only sane way to go about this is just address the consumers, okay? You need to stop buying single-use plastics. Like I said at the beginning of this, we already have enough plastic in our environment. I realize it's cheap to buy. I understand that. But also, bringing your own containers, bringing stuff that you have around, reusing them. This statistic came from 2017, and it's only been about 2.5 years since this stat. And this harrowing information says humans have made 8.3 billion tons of plastic. Billion tons. And this plastic is just sitting in our landfills, or it's just floating across the ocean and washing up on shores. It's just polluting our waters. And this is just gonna keep piling up and piling up until humans go extinct. And then, you know, the world will survive, but we will not. And so I think the issue here is that humans are just like doing so much to the environment that is so horrible. And we just think that because we don't see it, we don't see what's happening, especially here in the US, we have the money to ship it away, ship it to India, they'll deal with it. It's like, no, dude, I went to India. The streets are literally covered in trash. Like, there is so much trash there. I think about a couple months ago, I read something about them taking in British paper waste as well as our paper waste. And paper is one of those things that you can compost in your backyard. Like, we don't need to be shipping it off to places. So that's why when we talk about solutions, right? What is the solution to this? In my opinion, I think that composting is such a solution. Having things marketed to us that are compostable and having city standards within where we live of having curbside compost systems for people who don't have a compost system in their backyard or don't have the equipment like me to get, you know, those like eco-conscious, like new compostable plastic substitutes that you see in cutlery and cups sometimes. Like, that stuff can't be composted in my backyard. It has to be city composted with their large composting machinery. And it's all just like so overwhelming because we all want to think like, if we're paying companies to do this, I want to trust that they're doing something with my waste. But at the end of the day, it really comes back to the consumer of, oh, that's my waste though. And this is where I want to talk about Taipei. So Taipei, they really did not have a logical, sustainable system for waste management just only a few years ago. And then they implemented this system, this recycling system that really holds consumers accountable, and it makes it like an activity for all of your neighbors to go out and do, basically. So I learned about this recycling system in Taipei through this podcast called 99% Invisible, and they did an episode called National Sword. And I posted this on my Instagram story, but I will link it down below for you guys to go and listen to if you're curious. Just hear the whole story in there. But basically what Taipei does is everybody is held accountable. So there's little to no outdoor, you know, city trash cans and things. So if you have a coffee cup, you just put it in your purse or bag when you're done with it and take it home to deal with it because it's your trash. And they really have a fantastic sorting system there. So there's different bins inside of the recycling truck. So everybody comes out with their garbage. You hear a little sing-song jingle that comes from their recycling truck to let everybody in the neighborhood know it's time to recycle and, you know, reduce your waste. Everybody goes out with their little city bags, and that's the way that they pay for the system, is buying the bags, which is like brilliant to me, you know, rather than just being charged a monthly fee. So they take it out and they're just waving at their neighbors, sort of like, hello, howdy ho, we got our waste, let's sort it together. And then they sort it into the right bins, and there's workers who are there telling you where to put certain things, and then it gets sent off and you're like, yes, I sorted it. I know where everything goes. Things are clean. They are easy. We are reusing them. We are repurposing them. I think Taipei is great. I think we could learn a lot from Taipei, all right? Because we literally just put it in the bin in trust that once it's taken away, that we won't have to think about it anymore. Just the US's same mantra, can't be bothered, don't want to think about it. And this whole ban on recycling in China, it not only brought to light, you know, this issue, this global issue of producing too much waste, it also just threw the waste back in our faces. Like, okay, no, that's your problem. This is not China's problem anymore. So hats off to China for doing that for us. So basically what's happening now in the US is, like I said, in California, which has so much of our population in the US, their largest recycling center just closed its doors. This also has happened multiple other places around the US, and it's really just going state by state and city by city right now. So there's like a city responsibility. I know Portland has kind of a decent recycling program. We have a composting system as well, but it's just getting so expensive for states to figure out where to put their waste, because now that we can't just ship it off to China, we're like, oh, okay, well, I guess we'll just hold it here in our recycling center until we cannot anymore, and then we'll send it off to the landfill until we figure it out here in the US, because we still haven't figured it out. And I'm getting so frustrated because obviously our administration that's in place right now, thou who shall not be named, is just really doing everything he can to destroy the environment and open up more oil drillings and just like deny climate change and deny that there's a problem. And I just hope, I really, really fucking hope that whoever comes into office next will do something. Do something about the state of our planet, you know? Do something about the recycling issue that we have here in the US. Like, I don't know who to call, you know what I mean? Like, call up my representatives and just be like, hello, what is recycling here in the US? It's shit. Please fix it. Hang up, call another representative. Like, honestly, I don't want to admit this, but they have other things to worry about than where our waste is going, which is really sad to say, you know, because we all just want to like ignore it until it's so horrible that we're living in our own shit, which is like just what we're doing to other countries right now, which is like the saddest part of it is that's not our reality. Don't cry. That's not our reality now, but it is for other people. And I guess just what this video is, you know, a little bit of education on this matter, a desperate cry for help and a desperate cry for caring. Please, when you go to the grocery store, at least bring reusable bags. Stop bringing single-use plastics into your home. I have a whole video about trying to do a massive grocery shop for like 12 plus people to feed, plastic free. And I want to do more videos going to main grocery stores, like chain grocery stores, and trying to do a plastic free grocery shop there, because it's so much harder than you might think to do it at certain chains. Like Trader Joe's, so shit, everything is just packaged in plastic. And so that is like the main thing I think that we need to tackle first, is letting these companies know, hey, I don't want to be buying that anymore. Like, do you see the problem? Please address it. Make products for people to buy that aren't all packaged in plastic, because it's just so unnecessary. But what you can do as the consumer is pay attention to these things. And when you go to the grocery store and you see how much stuff is packaged in plastic, it is so disheartening. And you just need to really have that civil responsibility. That's what I want to harp on most in this, is that it's our responsibility to be putting our money to products that are doing the work, companies that are doing the work, you know, that aren't just selling us useless shit. And so I guess just what I'm trying to say is, please give a care. Please do not bring plastic into your homes. I know that it's very hard, but there are so many paper products out there. Opt for glass if you can. And I also just encourage you guys to do research on where you can do big bulk shopping that is plastic free and bringing your own bags. My favorite place to do bulk shopping, and you guys know this if you watch me, is Winco Foods. And they are in Washington, Idaho, Nevada, California, Oregon, Texas, Utah, Washington, Montana, and Arizona. So they are in a lot of locations. I encourage you to do your big bulk shopping there. I know my Canadian peeps out there, you guys have Bulk Barn, I've been told, and all my Canadian viewers are like, I wish you guys had Bulk Barn, it's the shit. But yeah, just look into where you can do your bulk shopping. And I really, really would love for you guys to also comment down below if you're watching this from another country, if you believe in your recycling and waste management management system in wherever you live, please comment down below how the US could take fucking notes, my dudes. I would love to learn about how you guys manage your waste, because I love this topic. I just think it's so important for US citizens and kids and adults who have been blind to this problem for so long to have this education of, hey, this recycling is not a solution anymore. It's not going anywhere. We need to be facing this head on and realizing that we're the ones buying these products. We're the ones throwing them away. We need to be the ones making the solutions, you know? Look into doing a little composting. You can do it at a community garden if you have one near you. Just get online and figure out a couple of solutions, okay? I believe in you. Please, let's just fucking hold ourselves accountable. That's all I hope that you got the message of with this video, is like, this is my issue. It's not just the US's issue as a whole. Everybody needs to be doing this. I hope that I covered all of my points that I wanted to cover in this. Go and listen to that podcast. I will also link a video down below that is a Better at the Bin initiative video, which is basically just telling you how to properly sort your own recycling so that it's easier on the people who are taking it away from you to sort themselves. I encourage you to share this with your friends, educate the people, send this to your parents, your family, all of the things. And if anybody in the political aspect of things is watching this, please tell someone to do something about this, because we need a system that works. Please, I beg of you, US, listen to me now. Meghan Hughes 2020. Oh, I'm just kidding. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, give it a big thumbs up for me. Subscribe to my channel if you're not already. Ring the notifications bell if you would like to be notified when I upload. And until the next upload, I hope it's more of a lighthearted one. Stay smiling. Bye.